Okay, well, next up we have Executive Officer Kane. This is the 1/9 scale kit from Polar Lights. They're a beautiful little resin kit. We already went through all this with you on an earlier video showing the build and the paintwork and everything on it. We had it mounted on the base in sort of its raw form, but I've got everything all tidied up and all the little details added on. You can see I've got this really nice label that came in from my friend Jerry at HDAModelworks.com. I'll put the link on the screen here for you. Jerry does fantastic graphics work. He created this special label here for me. I described what I wanted, and I was really pleased when I got it. It adds a nice little bit of detail on my display. So if you guys are working on some kind of, special thing out there and you want to add a little extra something to it, like this label or something, get a hold of Jerry over there and he can work with you. And you can see the quality is just outstanding on this, and Jerry's very creative with this kind of thing. So he'll be glad to work with you on that. Thanks again, Jerry. Top notch as always. We've got, the basic model we showed you. We had all the assembly and paint work done on that in the last video. I had the basic lighting installed, but now we've got our sound system, which I used one of my soundboards, and I've got the control board from Ralph at Tenant Controls, and that little control board operates this special effect that we have in our alien egg here that I talked about, which we did sort of a little flickering effect, which simulates that movement that we saw when Kane is looking at the egg and says, oops, there's movement in there, there's organic life. We've also got the board patched into his spacesuit here, and you'll see his little control panel just underneath of his chin, and his helmet flashes in there now. Some of the indicator lights flash. The lighting on his backpack was always lit, always on constantly, so we didn't do anything with that. But then we've got all the other lighting in his, in his helmet and everything. Now you can see these two little pegs sticking up here on the front of the base. I added those. Those are just some little miniature light casters that I decided to put on here. I used a single 0805 blue SMD in each one of those. They're cut at an angle so they cast upward, and they're sort of like stage lights. I've got them, so they don't throw a lot of light in your face when you're looking at it, and it shines up onto that in low light, and it looks fantastic along with the, the lighting in the egg and on Kane himself. And it simulates that sort of blue, fog that he was standing in the middle of when he was doing all this, that he describes as it reacts when it's touched and all that. So I thought that would be pretty cool. And so we've got this soundboard mounted in here too, using one of my soundboards, and it's got some dialogue and some sound effects from the movie, and this, pertaining to this particular scene. So we'll play that for you. I've got a 12-volt rechargeable lithium-ion battery mounted on the inside of the space. It's a really small little battery pack. I'm really impressed with it. Puts out a lot of juice. It lasts a long time. I think it's a 5800 milliamp hour. So this thing, when I measured the circuit on my power supply, it was about 3/4 of an amp. So it'll run about 6 hours or so constantly, and I'll never leave it on that long. So that'll last a long time. So this whole thing is really nice, and it's self-contained. I've got a jack on the back of it that I can just plug in the charger directly and recharge it without having to take the battery pack out. So it's all set to go. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be taking this over to the model show, and I wanted to be able to have it lit. They never have any power available over at these type of shows for us modelers that do lighting, and it's always kind of frustrating. So we're going to have this guy lit up all day long, and hopefully that'll score some extra brownie points with the judges for us. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I've got a single power switch on the back, and you can see it comes on, and we've got our little egg glowing. Now I'm going to get you a look at this. After 10 seconds, this little flickering effect starts. There you can see it. Starts to do a little bit. Then it'll wait 10 seconds, then it'll do that again, and it just keeps repeating it. Now what I did is I stuck a couple of white SMDs in there on each side of the chest burster, or the face hugger guy, and it sort of like simulates that movement that's in there. As I said before, we can't actually do real physical movement unless we put a motor or something in there, but it really looks great, and especially in low light, it really gives the illusion that something's moving around inside there, with the light hitting it from his flashlight. So I'm really happy with that. I'll show you if I can get up close here. If you look inside his helmet there, just underneath of his chin, you can see the indicator lights flashing. And we're going to show you this in some low light, and they'll show up a little bit better. But we've got that fog around his lens that I talked about. I really like that effect. I'm glad I decided to do that. And then we've got these little light casters casting up onto the figure and the egg. And then we've got the sounds. So just give you another quick look at the figure himself. I haven't done anything different to it since the last video. He's all finished up. Got his backpack lighting going on there. And we've got the lights in his helmet. We've got this one up here at the front that shines down into the opening of the egg. So let me pop the lights down a little bit low here and give you a look at this in some low light. That's when it really looks cool. Hang on. Alright everybody, well here's a look at Officer Kane in some low lighting down. You can see that blue effect coming through on there. Really nice. I'm really glad I decided to add that to this. And we'll give you a look at the flickering of the egg here when it kicks in. There it goes. I just had Ralph do like a really random, like I said, kind of almost like a Morse code kind of thing. And that looks great. You can see, we'll get you a look at those indicator lights inside his helmet there. You can see them quite a bit better. We've got a green, a red, and a blue in there. That was done with a single SMD. All I did was clear off the area. That's a transparent piece that goes in there. I just cleared it off and put some Tamiya transparent colors on those little indicator bulbs in his helmet. Got his upper light looking down into the egg here. And then of course his backpack again. So this came out really nice.